Welcome to Prevention Is Now. I'm Deb Bonner, preventionist and community advocate for Prairie Center Against Sexual Assault in Springfield, Illinois. Sexual violence is a serious and complex problem. It can have profound lifelong implications for survivors and their family and friends, and the solutions to preventing sexual violence are just as complex as the crime itself. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention, who has stated that sexual violence is a public health issue, recommends that prevention efforts address factors at all levels of the social ecology, including the individual, relational, community, and societal levels. The CDC has further put together a collection of strategies based on the best practices as indicated by the best available evidence. Stop SV, a technical package to prevent sexual violence, looks at promoting social norms that protects against sexual violence, such as mobilizing men and boys as allies. Teaching skills to prevent violence, such as teaching healthy, safe dating and intimate relationship skills to adolescents, providing opportunities to empower and support girls and women, creating protective environments, and supporting victims and survivors to lessen harm. The Start Strong program out of Boston, Massachusetts is an internationally recognized high school peer leadership program that aims to prevent teen sexual and dating violence, as well as promoting those healthy relationships. It is a highly innovative and really focuses on the promoting social norms and teaching skills section of the CDC's in order to prevent sexual and teen dating violence. Start Strong works with high school kids covering a wide variety of topics, including healthy relationships, deconstructing popular culture to determine appropriate social norms, and encouraging critical thinking, consent, and communication. Joining me today to talk about the program is Teakia Brown. She is the Strong Start Program Manager. Teakia, welcome. And let's start by having you give just an overview of the Start Strong program. What is it and how does it work?
My name is Teakia Brown, Program Manager for Start Strong. I've been with the program for about a year. How our program works is that we train young people over the summer over a course of 6 weeks. We train them in the areas of healthy relationship promotion and teen dating violence prevention. Our young people are then able to go out into the community and train other young people on the things that they've learned around healthy dating and consent. In addition to that, we have what's called an annual breakup summit, where young people from across the city and other youth workers come together to discuss healthy ways to end relationships. At that conference, young people lead some of the breakout sessions, and we really kind of let them take the lead in all of the work that we do at Start Strong. Some of the other things that we've done include creating a mini web series that's focused on teen dating violence that was helped to be created by our young people. They were very integral in the process, from helping to write the script to advocating for the production company and even acting in the mini-series, and that's called The Halls. If you're interested, you can check out thehallsboston.com to see that mini-series. In addition to the mini-series, the Breakup Summit, and the trainings that the young people learn over the summer and then go out into the community and teach, we also have what's called our tools. These tools allow young people to assess media that they consume and to decide whether or not it's healthy media that promotes healthy relationships or if it does not. We have a sound nutrition label that young people can use to look at the music lyrics that they're listening to and their popular music that they enjoy, and to really have an opportunity to break down whether or not this music that they are enjoying is actually promoting healthy relationship values. And we also have a True View tool, which allows young people to look at some of the music videos that they're watching, that they can just pull up on YouTube and assess whether or not those music videos are actually demonstrating healthy relationship behaviors. This is for them to be able to think about their own relationships that they're having, and the relationships that they're having with their friends and things like that, and decide whether or not those relationships reflect the types of things that they've learned in Start Strong and the types of relationships that they would like to have.
Now, changing social norms is one of the recommendations by the CDC, strategy-wise to prevent sexual violence. And these true media tools that you just talked about really kind of focus in on that idea of changing social norms. How have the kids responded as they've been more critically thinking about the media that they have been consuming? Have you seen them change their behaviors? How has that been working out?
Yeah, so I've definitely had young people say, wow, I've never thought about this that way. Or now that I see this, I can't unsee it. I've had young people in the program come back and tell me that, maybe they're watching a show on Netflix with an older sibling, and now they're talking about the relationship dynamics on this show that they're watching with with an older sibling now, engaging in different types of conversations with their family members. about messaging, billboards, things like that. Just becoming much more engaged kind of young citizens around what they see in their environment around them. And I think that has been one of the most rewarding things to have happen. It's these small interactions that they're able to say, that they're able to have these conversations with friends and family around that they didn't before have the language for.
And I think that is so important because the media is everywhere. And until you can start really critically thinking about it, that's going to be a real challenge. Now, you also have a similar tool that deals with pornography, which I know is going to shock a lot of people, but let's be honest, it's everywhere. So can you explain how that works?
Absolutely. So we do have a pornography curriculum, and that curriculum is really centered around understanding the pornography industry, letting young people really get a grasp of that, this is not real. It doesn't depict real intimacy. And for our young people to kind of think more about consent and how that may or may not play a role in pornography that they may have come across seeing, to get them to kind of think about it in that way and to understand that while there may be things that they learn if they were to watch a pornography, that that is not really the place for sex education, that there are many different ways where they can be learning about how to have healthy, intimate relationships. So our pornography curriculum really aims to provide young people with a critical lens to assess the types of scenes that they might come across, really for them to understand that these are paid actors, for them to be thinking about whether or not consent is depicted in those scenes, for them to be able to decipher whether or not those scenes look like healthy and loving relationships, and for them to put that up against what they've learned around the types of abuse, healthy communication, and consent throughout the different sets of curriculums that we have with them. So it's not really to say, that pornography is bad and that they should, never engage with it, but for them to understand pornography with the same critical lens that they would apply to the music videos that they watch or the music that they're listening to, for them to be smart consumers with any type of media that they might be engaging with.
Now, another strategy that the CDC recommends in the prevention of sexual violence is teaching healthy, safe dating and intimate relationship skills. What kind of relationship skills does Start Strong teach?
Absolutely. So a part of our teen dating violence prevention program is to go over the different types of abuse. So we've discussed things like financial abuse, emotional abuse, physical abuse, all of those different types of ways that one might experience abuse in a relationship so that a young person is able to call it out, when they see it. We also discuss how to help a friend. So we do that by looking at local community services that we have and making sure that young people understand how to get in contact with those services and understand exactly what those services can provide if a young person were to be in an unsafe relationship. We look at things like communication and how to support a partner and how you might like to be supported and how do you do self-advocacy within a relationship. And then, of course, consent.
We're speaking with Teakia Brown, the program manager for Start Strong. And as you said, consent is a huge issue in sexual violence prevention. And are you addressing consent in any specific way beyond just your healthy relationships skills that you're teaching your students and your peer leaders? How are you addressing that?
Yeah, so we look at things like, when is a young person in the state of Massachusetts actually able to give consent? Like at what age in the state of Massachusetts? That's 16. We also talk about what it might look like to give consent in different scenarios. We talk with our young people about, the ways in which they cannot give consent, like, if you're under the influence and things like that, not of well mind, and why that might be. But we really try to allow the young people to lead those conversations and ask the questions and really kind of guide the scenarios that they might be in. And so that way we're able to kind of provide the safe adult that can help walk through these things with you and help them think about it and help them be able to have those types of conversations. But we do that within the backdrop of, like I said, maybe discussing the types of abuse. So we look at financial abuse and we say, okay, how can a young person in a situation where their partner may be 2 years older than them and buying them sneakers as gifts, how can a young person in a situation where their partner may be 2 years older than them and buying them sneakers as gifts, is that person able to give consent in this relationship? If there's a power dynamic there, what does that look like? So we try to really get into the nuances of different scenarios around what makes the person able to give consent and to feel comfortable and to feel like an equal player in that relationship.
And I think one of the real strengths of Start Strong, and that you just touched on, is the fact that you reach kids on their level and you really listen to their input. What are some of the issues they're sharing with you, and how is it impacting your curriculum?
Yeah, so, we live in a social media age. And so for us, it's a lot about talking around how they're maybe navigating their social media lives and well-being. There may be things like, privacy around, well, I don't want to have a couple's Instagram page, or this person, do I want to share my logins to my TikTok or Snapchat and things like that. And so we talk about boundaries and about the fact of, maybe there are some conversations that you want to have directly with your partner, and you might not want that to turn into what they call subbing, when you're like, subliminally sending messages to someone without directly calling them out online. That might not be a healthy practice in a relationship. How does that kind of negate what you're trying to do if you're trying to have healthy and open communication with your partner? But also like the boundaries of, maybe I want to be online and I just didn't feel like responding to a text message. That's something that, young people talk about a lot. Or, just because I'm online doesn't mean that I'm available to talk to you. Or like maybe before you just like FaceTime me, you should ask for my permission. Am I available for a FaceTime? Things like that. So really kind of navigating this online world that they have and thinking about how maybe traditional boundaries that you and I might think around about relationships, it looks different for them, and trying to give the tools for how they can, express those boundaries to a partner.
Well, the measure of any prevention program is going to be the strength of its results. Can you share some of the findings you have in the evaluation of some of your peer leaders?
Yes, so we definitely have found that our peer leaders have increased knowledge we do pre and post tests. We also do pre and post tests before the porn curriculum and after the porn curriculum to assess whether or not they have a better understanding of, consent, communication, types of abuse, all of these different things that I've talked about that we kind of touch on. And we found that definitely have an increase in knowledge, and that they definitely have an increase of behavior change over time. And one of our really strong indicators that our young people are really engaging with our curriculum and taking a lot away from it is that usually we have young people that come into the program as maybe sophomores and leave as seniors. So they stay with us for at least 2 years, which is, really good. We feel really proud about that. But in addition to them staying for the 2 years, we also have a wide alumni base that continues to engage with us. This past summer, while we were working online and remotely like lots of other people were, we actually had some of our young people come back, some of the alumni come back to help teach some of their curriculum to our new sets of young people that'll be in our cohort for this academic year. So we feel really good that we've been able to do that and continue to engage our base of alumni and the young people that stay in our program for that 2 years, like I mentioned.
One of the things that really strikes me about this program, I was doing some research on sexual violence in the military, and a quote that stuck with me is a woman who had been assaulted said, the military tries really hard, but the problem is by the time the men get here, it's too late. And a program like yours is really reaching the kids at a time when we can really make some pretty profound differences in their attitudes and their behaviors and in their knowledge about healthy relationships and how to prevent sexual violence. So Teakia, I want to thank you for being on the show. And before we wrap things up completely, where can people go to find out more about the Start Strong program?
Absolutely. So you can go to thehallsboston.com to find out everything about the web series that we created. You can watch it. There's a resource guide that has questions for facilitators that they can give to their young people. You can also find us at the Boston Public Health Commission /Start Strong. All of our program information is there as well.
All right. And I will put all of those links in our show description so people will have those at their fingertips as well. Teakia Brown with Start Strong in Boston, Massachusetts. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for taking the time.
This has been Prevention is Now. I'm Deb Bonner, preventionist and community advocate for Prairie Center Against Sexual Assault. If you would like more information on this program, you may call our offices at 217-744-2560 or send me an email requesting more information at dbonner@prairiecasa.org. Prairie Center Against Sexual Assault supports children and adult survivors of sexual violence through counseling and legal and medical advocacy in 11 central Illinois counties. We also offer bystander intervention training with bringing in the bystander and coaching boys into men. We also offer sexual harassment prevention training for business and organizations in our area. Our main office is located in Springfield, Illinois, with satellite offices in Jacksonville and Taylorville, Illinois. And you can find out more about our services at our website at prairiecasa.org. This program is supported by a grant from the Illinois Department of Public Health and the Illinois Coalition Against Sexual Assault. Points of view or opinions contained in this program are those of Prairie Center Against Sexual Assault and our guests and do not necessarily reflect on the official positions or policies of these grantors. Thank you for listening.